Jalen Hood-Schifino originally committed to Pittsburgh in December of 2019, but later withdrew his commitment and committed to Indiana in August of 2021 as a 5-star recruit and the 4th-ranked shooting guard nationally per Rivals.com. Hood-Schifino often functioned as Indiana's primary ball handler and helped guide Indiana to an NCAA tournament appearance as a 4 seed. They won in the first round but were eliminated in the second round by a Miami team that is now playing in the Final Four. Hood-Schifino had a season of very high peaks and incredibly low valleys, posting 5 games with 20 or more points, including 2 over 30, but also 4 games with less than 5 points. He was good enough to be named to the All-Big Ten team and also be selected for Big Ten Rookie of the Year, but also shot just 42% from the field and turned the ball over nearly 3 times per game. Hood-Schifino is a tough prospect to evaluate, but with his pedigree and flashes of how high his ceiling can be, he'll likely find himself being drafted in the mid to late first round of the 2023 NBA Draft. The first strength for Hood-Schifino is his mid-range jumper. Scoring in the mid-range has become a bit of a lost art in modern basketball, and for good reason. For most players, it's a pretty inefficient shot in terms of points per attempt, but there are still some players that can be efficient scorers in the mid-range area. Hood-Schifino definitely has off nights in this area, but when he's on, he looks like an absolute assassin in the mid-range. He can get his shot off almost any time he wants to, regardless of what's happening around him, and when he's on, there's little it seems defenders can do to stop his shot from going down. He has his conventional jumper, but also will bust out a leaner and a long floater in the mid-range as well. Being a great mid-range shooter isn't always viewed as super valuable to NBA teams, but it is nice to have a guy that can get you 2 points in a tough situation when needed. Another strength for Hood-Schifino is his ability to change speeds on his drives. There are certainly guards that are more explosive than Hood-Schifino, but he is very crafty at using his sudden speed changes to get good shots. He's great at coming around a screen and suddenly stopping to get the defender on his back, and then he just keeps them there. From there, Hood-Schifino can decide if he wants to change gears and attack the roll defender, or force him to come out a bit and hit the roll man with a pass. Hood-Schifino may not be running the point as much in the NBA as he has in college, but if a team puts the ball in his hands in the pick and roll, they can trust him to create something with his ability to change speeds. One final strength for Hood-Schifino is defense. A big reason Hood-Schifino is a strong defender is thanks to his physical tools. He's 6'6" and solidly built at 213 pounds. He also possesses a plus 4-inch wingspan that allows him to be even more switchable around the perimeter. But beyond just the physical tools, he's also a hard worker on the defensive end. He slides his feet well to stay in front of guards on the offensive end and works hard to get over screens. Hood-Schifino doesn't necessarily jump off the screen as an outstanding defender, but he looks like he'll be a solid NBA defender just as he has been in college. One weakness for Hood-Schifino is outside shooting. On the season, Hood-Schifino made 37 of his 111 3-point attempts, good for 33% on the season. This number is rather underwhelming in itself, but if you drill down even a little bit further, it looks worse. 16 of his 37 makes came in just 3 games during a hot stretch in January. He also had 13 games where he made 0 3-pointers. Given his shooting ability in the mid-range and at the free throw line, it is a bit surprising that Hood-Schifino seems to be a below-average 3-point shooter. But the numbers are the numbers. It's obviously possible Hood-Schifino manages to extend his range out to 3-point territory in the NBA. This probably shouldn't be expected upon his arrival though. Until he can prove to be a threat from beyond the arc, defenders are going to sag off of him and go under screens. Another weakness for Hood-Schifino is turnovers. Part of this weakness, I believe, is that Hood-Schifino is more of a natural shooting guard that is playing out of position as a point guard at Indiana. So there were times that he would attempt passes that maybe a player with more point guard experience wouldn't try. The other part is Hood-Schifino can get a little loose with his handle at times. While he is great at changing speeds and putting defenders on his hip, sometimes he gets a bit too loose with the ball under pressure and has it taken away. To be successful in the NBA, Hood-Schifino will need to take better care of the basketball both as a playmaker and as a ball handler. This first clip displays some of Hood-Schifino's skill in the mid-range. The play begins with Hood-Schifino bringing the ball up to initiate the offense. He gets a screen from his teammate as he dribbles to the right. The roll defender drops as Hood-Schifino's defender tries to get over the screen. Seeing the space, Hood-Schifino pulls up and knocks down the deep 2. Shots in the mid-range aren't the best option for every player, but Hood-Schifino seems to generally have good touch in that range and can be effective when he's on. This next clip shows Hood-Schifino's ability to change speeds to get to his spots on the floor. The play begins with Hood-Schifino initiating the offense near half court. His defender aggressively overplays his right hand, forcing him to his left. As Hood-Schifino starts to drive, another defender slides over to help. Now essentially facing a double team, Hood-Schifino stops and freezes both of the defenders. Recognizing that he has them flat-footed, he instantly re-accelerates and finishes at the basket. Hood-Schifino may not be able to break down defenders with his athleticism much, but his herky-jerky style of play can make him difficult to defend. This final clip shows how Hood-Schifino can struggle with turnovers. The play starts with Hood-Schifino bringing the ball up over half court. He gets some light ball pressure from the defender, but gets a little too casual with his dribble and the defender swipes it right out of his hands. Hood-Schifino is generally good at handling defenders during his stops and starts out of a pick and roll, but there are times he gets a little too loose with his handle, and this results in clean steals going the other way. Jalen Hood-Schifino is one of the more confusing prospects I've covered so far in this draft. If you catch him on the right night, he looks like he has the potential to be a star, knocking down shots all over the floor, playing tough defense, and looking wise beyond his years. But other nights he looks like he couldn't throw a rock into the ocean and struggles with turnovers. The efficiency stats certainly aren't pretty either, so it makes it tough to know what he is and what he can be. I like Hood-Schifino's style of play, and if he can keep the dud nights to a minimum, he could be a really nice rotation player in the NBA. But if he is inconsistent shooting the ball at the next level as he has been in college, he could struggle to find a good foothold. My NBA comp for Jalen Hood-Schifino is a poor man's DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan has been a mid-range assassin throughout his career that has never been able to find consistency from behind the three-point arc. DeRozan has carved out a nice second act of his career by working on his playmaking while continuing to be hyper-efficient as a mid-range shooter. Hood-Schifino is a similar size as DeRozan and has a similar playing style on the offensive end of the floor, but at this stage he's far less efficient as a scorer. If Hood-Schifino can find more consistency on the offensive end, he could approach a ceiling as a DeRozan-type player.